for all my basketball fans out there, it is March. It is March Madness, but I don't want to talk about March Madness today. I want to talk about Steph Curry. Steph Curry shows up before every NBA game and he shoots 500 shots. It's not an easy warm-up. It takes a lot of time. 500 shots. Now, he is the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, probably in the history of basketball. He has made specific shots probably over 10,000 times plus or minus. But he still shows up before every game and takes 500 shots. I'm Mike Brewer, and this is The Intelligence Fabric, a podcast about how intelligence really shows up in multifamily. Today, I want to talk about Steph Curry and what he understands about preparation that most multifamily operators are skipping entirely, and what it's costing them every single day. Let's pull on that thread. I want you to think about your last week at work. I want you to think about the number of meetings that you sat in, the number of hours you spent in each one of those meetings. Now, I want you to think about how many actual decisions came out of that time that you spent or that time that you invested. My imagination tells me, we really think about it, it's probably a very embarrassing ratio on the low side. And I'm not talking about decisions like that create action items or that create, got to get back to you on that one or circle back with you on that. I'm talking about the real decisions that move your business forward. Probably low. So I think it begs the question, what is happening underneath all of that? I think it's interesting that companies right now are trying to automate things that they truly don't understand. And they're doing it with real enthusiasm. They're doing it with shiny new slide decks, all created by AI. Those are some cool slide decks. They also have healthy tech stacks or potentially tech stacks that they're trying to reduce in size. But they're doing all this work with complete confidence that it's good information. I don't think we would argue, no one would argue, not anyone that I know would argue that automation isn't powerful. But automation doesn't fix broken processes. It helps you do wrong things faster and more of that stuff, and with complete confidence that you're doing it in the right way. Now, let's get back to Steph Curry for a second. He does not skip 500 shots and trust his muscle memory. He earns that muscle memory first. That distinction is really important, and it is everything. Here's a quick illustration. You have a company that says it wants to automate leasing, but what are you really automating? First response time, tour scheduling, lead nurturing, follow-up cadence, guest card completion, objection handling, pricing communication, no-shows, lead quality scoring. You know where I'm going with this, right? There is a plethora of things that you can automate in that system, but you may not know exactly what you're trying to automate. Leasing's not just one thing, it's a ton of things. Leasing is a chain. It's a chain of decisions, signals, behaviors, contexts, exceptions, and judgment calls. And if you don't understand where the value is created in that chain, where the risk lives, where human judgment still matters, you're not automating leasing. No, in fact, I think you're potentially automating a bunch of confusion, but it does have better branding. Nobody says this out loud. A lot of the processes that we're talking about are not held together in a system today. They've been held together, rather, by 3 high performers, a regional that knows where your bodies are buried, and somebody named Jessica who cleans it all up before anyone notices. Now, here's the problem. Jessica is not a process. She's rather a miracle. And the problem with miracles is they do not scale. So what is Steph Curry actually doing when he's taking those 500 shots? He's not just shooting for the sake of shooting. No, he's diagnosing. He's trying to understand where his release is, if he's actually following through, if he has aches and pains that might be impacting his shot. And he's trying to understand where all that friction is before it gets to automation, before the game starts. Now, you bring that back to multifamily. That's where most operators are just skipping that process entirely. They're trying to automate something before they understand it completely. You really do have to ask yourself a bunch of questions before you do that. What's actually happening in that workflow? What should be happening in the workflow? Where does judgment fit in? What data is informing what decisions along that continuum? Most companies today, they're automating for one reason and one reason only. And it's an important reason, but it's one of many reasons that you should automate. They're doing it because their teams are overwhelmed. Things are inconsistent in that workflow, and the pressure is coming from everywhere to perform. But pressure is what makes people skip diagnosis and go right to the tool. What are we going to put in place? What are we going to automate? But you can't shoot your way out of a form problem by shooting faster. It's just not possible. Here's the punchline. Real automation comes after understanding, not before it. You really do have to map the workflow. You have to identify every one of the decision points. You have to study what the exceptions are. You have to figure out what requires empathy and what requires speed and what requires real precision in that workflow. Then you decide what the machine will do. The goal is really to remove waste, not people. It's to reduce noise, not people. It's to improve consistency. It's to free those people up to do the parts of the job that require mind work, a bit of a backbone, and really a lot of heart. Now, Steph Curry takes 500 shots before every game, and it's not because he forgot how to shoot last night. He knows that trust without understanding is just his world, confidence wearing the wrong jersey. Do the 500 shots first. Thanks for being here. That's it for the Intelligence Fabric today. If something here resonates with you, pay attention. And I'll see you in the next episode where we'll pull on another thread in multifamily.